guess I'll start off by talking about the Braves a little bit. I watched them a little bit last night, mostly watched it on mute. I had a feeling that we wasn't going to do that good considering who we were playing. And them California teams are always kind of tough on us. And especially, I don't know, you know, who all the Braves pitchers are these days. I think Charlie Morton's our veteran of the group. I think he's the one that's been around for a good while. They said he's 38. So, you know, but we haven't lost a game this year that we haven't at least scored one run. So we still got that going for us. And we've not had a game where we've not at least had a hit yet. So even in those tough losses, I consider that a victory. Um, Even if we don't win the game, we still come out with something. So it's a positive, thing to look back on. Um, because it's hard to defend. It's hard to defend the world's championship because every year seems like now, especially MLB's always looking to change a rule or change something. And so every year it's going to keep getting tougher and tougher. And just hope the Braves have fun. And hope that we can, beat the Dodgers coming up. Uh, and I know we'll get to see Freddie a few times. But I just I like I like Freddie, and I wish hopefully we'll beat them and they can win on afterwards. Hopefully we'll have some luck. But uh, Freddie seems to do okay. I've been checking up on him a little bit, seeing what he's done in his game. But he still have no RBIs or homers yet. Don't look like so. You know, who knows? I mean, it's. But I know I know Freddie's got it in there. Um, I don't know um, if it's the caliber of teams he's facing. Maybe he's not used to the field, but Freddie's always to me, always sort of been a slow starter. So, Freddie Freeman's kind of one of those. If and being a slow starter and finishing up, decent is probably going to be Freddie's legacy. Because, I mean, he doesn't get streaky at long points. We got lucky last year when the World Series was there. To me, that was the best I ever seen Freddie play. And he just happened to have it, and our young pitchers and what we had on the team had it. You know, we've got a lot of the young ones that I don't know good yet, and don't know much about. Charlie Morton last year in the World Series, got injured, and we had to do it without our veteran on the team. So a lot of those young guys deserve a lot of credit. That takes that's a lot of pressure on some young fellas. And like I said, I grew up, in the early uh, portion of the Braves' success, and then also when they wasn't playing so good. I was born in '84, so I didn't start watching the Braves till probably around late '80s, probably even in the '90s. I'd say early '90s, especially. I do remember watching the Braves in '95 when the World Series championship, and I was sitting in there with my Papa Dan, Yeah, he watched the Braves for a good while till they started spitting, and every time you turn around, they seemed like they had that tobacco stuff in their mouth, and the camera would get up on them. And I'm glad they don't do that today. I wish they never started that. I don't know why they felt like they had to do that. I agree with my papa on that one, but you know, it's always good to go back and reminisce on some old times like that. Remember the good stuff from the days when family was together and was one big family. Uh, I still like to go back a lot of times when I'm sitting here at the house. Just reminisce on some of them because you never get it back. And unfortunately, like I said, unfortunately, what happened to me and stuff could happen to anybody. Your family can love you one minute and love you with all their heart, through your childhood days and through your early 20s. And then when you get to where you want to get out and you want to do something else, or you want to go out there and you want to get your feet wet and tangle in something to try your own luck with it, or have some other thing like a job or something. Sometimes you get support, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they'll say they support you, sometimes they'll take it back, all because they might be worried about, feller feller's SSI or whatever. But to me, they ought to support you no matter what, you know, from the very beginning. We'll worry about that stuff later. But unfortunately, things doesn't always go good, and like I've noticed a lot, a lot of things have changed, but not necessarily for the better. But not consider anybody that comes in our life, if there is anybody out there. Not just for me, my wife. She's been through a lot, and although crack whore Susan thing didn't work out as good, and it come from my wife's heart. She meant well. I meant well, but you can't make people see. You know, they're blind, maybe not literally blind, but they're figuratively blind, and they can't see the goodness in somebody. You know, and that's a problem with a lot of the people out here. You know, uh, I know that we don't want to see this thing come to an end the way it's looking, but I'm hoping that maybe this video or the video maybe later on, maybe you know. And I just want to say one quick thing. Speaking of people, and I don't care if anybody else out there likes this or not, but I want to thank everybody, every young lady that ever had the fortunes being out there that may have run across me. And if I treated you good, even if it was just for a short time, and if you're anybody who I've named before, the Roxannes, the Stacy's, and whoever all have run across me, I hope you had something out of it. I hope you got a little something out of it, even if it wasn't a lot. And so I don't want to forget the good stuff. Although I don't like current stuff that's going on and stuff I can't help. People do what they want. People sometimes they change, so you can't really do a lot about a lot of that stuff. You just have to hope there's something else. And as much as we've been through, I have to think there's something somewhere. I don't know if they're hiding out there in a bush, behind a tree. I don't know, but I have to think something's out there. I know my wife the other day, we were talking, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and then she's telling me about these. It seemed like they come out, and they come out at the wrong time, and you should be sitting up there at one of these church functions or something, and all of a sudden somebody wants to come out, and that happens. So I mean, I don't know why, but you know, people people think, well, just because they feed dogs or they feed people on the side of the road that you know that they're some kind of hero or they're some kind of or that's and I told my wife, I said, well, to me, and my wife said, well, I don't go to church to get for them, and I know that. I mean, honestly, it just hurts when these people know she prays and I pray about it. I may not get down on my knees and do what I would normally, normally associate with the old gospel stuff. But one thing I have a hard time it is, but I know they know the Curtises and the Nicks and all the people at that church. They know that she's been wanting this for a while, and I hated to hear that somebody you know come out there and showed their ice out like that, and just because you know they wanted their 5 minutes of attention. Because I told my wife that it obviously was set up like that, and I don't know. Like I said, don't know the person, don't I don't know who this was, but it was weird to hear that you know all these people. And I told my wife, no, I don't think we have the best equipped situation, but I think if these people sit down, and I'm not saying we're the most deserving people, but I am saying anybody out there is not well deserving. But I mean, if you could change one person's life, whoever that might be, some young one out there, some young lady, what does it matter if I didn't meet you? What does it matter if my wife never met you, never gave you a dime or food or clothes? What does it matter, right? It doesn't matter. You nobody no nobody out there should just assume just because somebody gives you something doesn't mean doesn't mean that's the only person that has a good heart. I can understand some people might say, well, Derek, they beat you to the punch. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think about it. If you really put two and two together. I mean, my wife had an opportunity not months ago, but the problem is these people at church are stingy. These people don't have the heart for me or my wife. They don't understand anything. They say they do, but they don't. And she, you know, and she says it all the time. She says, I hate having to see these people out here walking around and doing this and doing that. And I told her, I said, well, most of that is family or people they've met at a workplace or school, but you don't see it in everyday occasion where somebody does something, or comes out like that. And I guess all I got to say is next time we're going to have to be rude and we're going to have to jump on. Now, I'm not saying that as like, and don't misunderstand what I just said, but I'm saying get yourself out there. If these people won't pull for us, So what? And the next opportunity further gets, further just needs to jump in line. You know how I used to cut, you know how some people used to always cut in line at schools and try to take your place and think it's being cute. Well, that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to shine a light. There's no need for it's not in our case anyway. There's no need to call for a what you call them shelters and all that. We got one right here. Does everybody know about it? No, but I can guarantee you that you know they'd be delighted to know there is one person in that church, two people in that church. Yeah, a lot of these, and a lot of them I know. I have met them. Uh, I don't go out and do anything special, but I know a lot of them, and my wife can attest to that. I've seen them and met them, but I don't know them personally all the way through. But I know their names and know their faces. If they don't pull for us, don't let it bother you. Is all I got to say for my wife, because there'll be a day and there'll be a time when they want something, and I don't care who they are in there. There'll be a day and a time they'll be beating and banging and clanging on our doors, and they'll be begging for something. That day ain't come yet, but they will. Because I know what they done to my wife. My wife come home one night and told me. And yes, it's not a normal request. But so what? It ain't. It got answered that one time I did it. It took a year and a half. But you see how these people treated her when she came home with rides and all that stuff before. You know, I just had this on my heart this morning. You've got to when you see something, you got, and no matter if it's not for you, maybe it wasn't its original intention. But sometimes, like when you're put in a position, maybe somebody out here, sometimes you see these on the news, and sometimes you'll see a man go out there and do something for somebody they didn't know was coming. So you help somebody, you save someone from getting hurt or something, and so that person's always held to in a place in that person's heart because they did something that they didn't think anybody would do. And I'm not saying we're going to ever have that situation, but just any opportunity that's out there, if we don't, and it may be a while away, but because unfortunately today's technology does not help the advancement of finding people or finding people to talk to. Unlike some people would try to lie to you and tell you. You know, my wife's been on that end of things. We've had our runs. So I don't really take anything serious when it comes to that. But if we get an opportunity, we see an opportunity, we need to try to close that door. I don't care what the people thinks that's standing around. I don't care if there's 100 people. Next opportunity we get, we got to close it up because just because we had a couple of bad apples doesn't mean everybody's bad. And somebody out there will appreciate our offer, and somebody that is unannounced and not, uh, probably never heard of, probably never heard of us, probably gets put in a certain spot. Yeah, maybe it's the church again. Maybe it's a different place. Maybe we're out at a doctor's office. I go to the dentist every once in a while. You never know. A door might open up. It may be put in its place like my wife was. And I think if we just kind of look at it from that end of it, you know, it wouldn't be stressful to wait. Is there a certain person out there somewhere Just because she hasn't made it known yet doesn't mean she ain't there. So I'd have to think that it's just the timing's not been right. And although our hearts have been right and wanted to be right, and we wanted to have a sense of self control in the whole thing, and that we wanted to, like I said, I mentioned earlier about my wife, saying, well, that's mine and her present, the way I look at it. Anytime you can get, somebody special and you have this special bond or connection with, you know, that to me, no matter who finds it, I mean, if you've got, you know, unfortunately for us, we don't deal with our families anymore, and we don't deal with that. So what they would see is what they get. That person knows who she is out there, and if she's got a YouTube or something, like I say, it could be that one person that see this video that says I'm that one, I'm that person, you know, and because we've been at this for a while, and it's been a little hard to understand, that you just don't get things out here, just like you don't get money coming out here off the trees. I'd love for a tumble of money to come out here and just go on a shopping spree every day if I could. Because when I get money, I can't seem to. I want to spend it, and that's just like everybody. But you just there has to be something eventually. I mean, something has to turn around. I know we have our naysayers out here in the local area, and we have gossip and all that. I tell my wife, no, there's no reason to think that anybody's going to come out from these apartments. I told her, I said, we stay away from them. That's number one. You know, anybody comes from there, yeah, I would stay away. Um, because nothing good ever comes out of anybody to apartments. I see these damn people going up and down the roads all the time, and I see these cars going up and up there, and they already got some. You know, my wife and I thought that last year this one person that we named earlier didn't have anything. We were fooled. But you know what? You're not going to fool us twice. You're not going to fool us three times. So there's other people out there like that. Be mindful to everybody out here, even if I don't know you. Be careful. Don't let them people tell you they're homeless. Don't let them people fool you. Don't let them, no matter what they look like on the outside, don't let them fool you. Now, there's always somebody out there that will try to pull wool over your eyes. And my wife knows this very well. This person didn't have no kids around her the first time my wife met her. She didn't have no immediate family up her ass. She didn't have no phone up her ass. But since she come down here, that's when we found out. It took 3 days. But like I said, it could be 5 minutes later. My wife's come home with people many times, and she's had to stop, doing the whole thing. Like I said earlier, the rides thing, unless it's somebody. We had a family member that's been good to us, and been in the hospital a little bit. Hopefully she get better.
She gets up tomorrow or
Gets out
today.
gets out today. Okay.
Yeah, she gets up today.
I thought today's Friday. I thought you said Saturday.
Today is Saturday.
I thought it was Friday.
No, today's Saturday, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Today's Saturday.
Oh, I don't know. I get the word nowadays. I can't even keep up with what day it is anymore.
I thought today was Saturday.
No, I was thinking it's Friday, but I may be wrong. Was that something like when I called yesterday? I called Sue yesterday. I thought it was Thursday,
I don't know. I'll check in that.
but anyway, it don't matter.
They got a play tonight. They got an Easter hunt.
But Anyway, yeah, we're just we gotta you know try to. I guess my advice for anybody out there, if you're looking for something like we are, or for something else, you just gotta go out there and get it. When you see something, you gotta go get it. Don't worry about who's in front of you. You know, uh, if because if you do, you're just gonna make all them other people happy in there. Well, Derek, they don't come out and say it. No, they're not going to say it, but they're if you get like me, and my wife knows this about me, you put anyone in front of me, and if she tells me that they're good, I can tell you within a few minutes whether that kind of thing is the way I feel or not. I don't have to meet you. I don't have to have known you from nowhere. And I've always had this thing where I can do that. I could be like a police detective if I wanted to be. I know the other day when she went down there and was like we said the other day, and she went down there to get these people stop calling her phone. And they said, "Hey, I like that. I like that little feature on that phone." you know, but it does help to have that voice thing where you do that voice stuff. It did help. And so like I said, there's some things about technology I can say are good, but a lot of the stuff, I wish they just take the gift cards and all that other stuff out. I wish, but that's our main problem. The technology has actually made the internet worse. And although there are a few good ones, like a Curry Walker that came out of nowhere, it didn't end well, or a couple of times, we might have gotten a little something, a tease of something, but didn't wasn't exactly what we thought it was. So, you don't get it that often. I still check just on the basis of checking, but I don't try to take it serious. A lot of people says, "Well, Derek, your pictures are old. Your pictures are, yeah, 6, 7 years ago." Well, it doesn't matter. You'd never know any difference if I had my hair cut. You know what I'm saying? I look about the same as I've always looked. And I went and recently bought me another shaver. My other shaver give out or something. We found one down at the Dollar General. They had some, but so it wasn't much, just a trimmer. I don't need no fancy stuff. But, uh, yeah, it's we just basically uh, we practically do the same stuff. I watched some stuff this morning, looked up some seniors, some Hall of Fame speeches that were uploaded from years past. I watched some of them. Uh, so did a few things, but I don't upload videos because I don't know how and don't really feel like fooling with it. Probably could with our new phones, but I'm not interested in wasting our megabytes for uploaded videos and just
No,
be
I
like
gotta be up
these.
at the church at 2. Today's Saturday.
Oh, is it Sharon?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
No.
Yesterday was Friday. Friday.
Well, like I said, the wrestling ain't as good as it used to be. So that's usually how I used to know what day it was. When the wrestling used to be really good. Now I have a habit of waiting. Some weeks sometimes. Going back and just looking. Not necessarily because it's good, but just to see what, keep up with it just a little, see what's the good parts or something. But generally, I don't, know what day it is anymore because I don't have a regular schedule of anything going on. So, when you're kids, you have school and you have stuff going on 5 days a week. So, Saturday and Sunday is the only time you get. And, but those days have come and gone. And when I worked, like I said, I wouldn't work all week, but I worked, I
My phone goes to that black. I'll check it again and make sure.
has, work. You have a schedule of your own that can kind of keep up with stuff. But no, it just time flies, and days go by. So it happens to me more now than it ever did. So uh, I know, like I said, I'll know when church is on. I know when Sunday is because the church bell up there rings.
Yeah, we're not going to ring it today.
So I know when Sunday is, regardless of any other day. But anyway, just kind of want to put something out for a little while anyway. And like I say, hopefully the Braves will win tonight. Hopefully we've got that out of our system. Hopefully we can. I know the last time we lost a good bit, by a good bit, the next day we came out and put what was it, 16-4, wasn't it? It was a big old score. It was like we had the 16 and the other team had 4. So hopefully we'll come out and I don't get to hear my Stone Cold music because we're on the away game, but I mean, but yeah, we'll see how we do tonight. See if there's any other. Sometimes I like watching other people's games. I was trying to find me a Freddie Freeman one, but I hadn't found an LA Dodgers one yet. I've been teased a couple times, but MLB Network's been letting me down a little bit. So, yeah, that's how MLB Network is, though. Like I told my wife, they didn't like having to talk about the Braves for the whole year. I can guarantee you that. Because we lucked out. A lot of those young guys were just coming up or just been in baseball for a few years in the major league level. So a lot of those guys, I don't even know who they are. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, our veteran pitcher went down in the World Series, and that's a lot of pressure on them youngins. So for everything to go the way it did and go right, that's the way the Braves are, though. The Braves, even in '95, we weren't supposed to win. We weren't in most people's eyes. We weren't supposed to win. In the media, but I think the fans wanted to see us win. Us as fans of the Braves want. We knew it was about time because we kept getting in there every year. And our worst year that we finished first was in '91, and we weren't supposed to do anything that year. In '94, we could have had probably another banner, maybe not a World Series championship, but we could have had at least 15 instead of 14. But the strike happened, and so we lost out on a 1994 World Series championship opportunity there. Montreal Expos back then that was their best season. They lost out. Now they're the Nationals. So if you see some of that weird uniform mess, the reason that the Nationals wear that is because of the team they were named after. So hopefully, though, they'll switch that up eventually. Have another team, or if not, bring them back and get it right. Actually, MLB, and then get it right, get another team or something. That's kind of cool. You used to have two different Canadian teams, and the rest of them would be from America. So, I mean, Hopefully, one of these days, though, they'll get some of this stuff straightened out. But anyway, I'll make another video maybe later. All right. Bye.